I am totally not kidding when I say I really don't want the men in black coming after me.
Oh, and there ain't no such thing as aliens or men in black.
Hi crystal balls, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video today. If this is your first time here, welcome. Please think about sticking around, liking, commenting, and subscribing. I know it's annoying to ask, but I'm trying really hard to get to 1,000. I'm halfway there. I'm so sorry. Um, so today I have decided to talk about aliens.
Right. Somebody said alien.
Yes, aliens. So I'm not discussing really if there are aliens out there or not because I think there are. I think it would be really conceited if we believe that we're only living beings in the universe. And the expansion of the Webb telescope, which is amazing, we are definitely seeing more and more universes, galaxies, and things like that. And it's just ridiculous to think that we are the only beings alive, but we might be the only carbon-based beings. I don't know. We know nothing.
You know nothing of the world.
We're learning stuff every single day, so it's very naive to think that we don't have aliens. Now, what I really want to talk about is why. So, why would aliens come here in the first place? Like, my really big thing is I've been watching some different YouTube stories that are pretty riveting. Um, I just can't understand why aliens, who are obviously well more advanced than us, would come here. We're boring. Like, we're basically destruction upon ourselves. Um, I don't know if we're for somebody's entertainment or what, but that's what it feels like sometimes. So we're going to do a reading kind of on the why.
Don't you use tarot cards or a crystal ball or something?
Because I don't get it. I feel like there's far superior, advanced, and less ridiculous species than humans. And yes, we're ridiculous. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we are what we are, and we're unique, and maybe we're not. Maybe there's 1,000 different Lisas. God forbid that there was 1,000 different Lisas. But we're gonna look into a couple of questions. Use my Rider-Waite tarot card deck today to see what we can come up with. So, the first question I'm going to ask. Well, I'm just gonna ask why and see. This sounds so snarky. We're gonna ask why, and see what we come up with. So, I don't have a second camera. That's why you guys can Patreon me or book a reading if you want to help get me a second camera so we can have this and then you can see the tarot at the same time instead of me holding it up to you. Join my Patreon or book a reading. Go to www.dreamsicleandmoonfire.com. Okay, so the first card I get is the King of Swords. So what this means to me is a sense of authority. I really feel like somebody made a deal. Aliens, species, whatever, I really do believe that they have been around for a long time. I think, I mean, before there was any real inhabitants on this earth, we're made up of other planets and other things that have exploded and died, and we have like space dust and things on us. I mean, I'm just saying that there is microscopic alien things that have been on this earth forever because they are part of a different universe, a part of a dead star, a part of something that has exploded again and again and again and is in our ground, which is really interesting and unique that all of that had to happen in order for us to be here. But anywho, this feels like somebody made a deal. I'm not necessarily saying it was a human that made a deal. I almost feel like this is a pet project. Um, I'm gonna touch back on that. Pin in it. Pet project. This does look, again, like there was something exchanged in order for the amnesia to happen. So it feels like there was an exchange between two heads, the aliens and whoever represented Earth at that point. Um, Way more far advanced than us. Like, very intelligent, clearly not of somebody of this world, but somebody that had otherworldly intelligence and brokered a deal as a pet planet. I keep hearing the word pet planet. Um, and this is something that happened to further investigations, but also it turned sour. It turned south. Like something happened. I think the amnesia was part of it, so we wouldn't remember because things are coming all of the time. But as time has gone on, something became damaged. Something happened to damage the understanding of why this is happening. Um, it basically is like, okay, you and I did not broker this deal. We had nothing to do with it. That was many, many suns and moons ago. And this was something that is completely out of our control. At some point, even though there was this amnesia, things started to break through, and this caused mass paranoia. And mass paranoia at several different times where the veil kind of broke, or it was very frayed, and we could see that this was happening to us. Um, I think the rules changed at that point. Like, this deal feels like it's something that's ironclad. Like, we will never be able to survive without it. We can't break it. Even though we didn't broker it, we can't break it. And if we do, it's going to be annihilation. I'm not trying to scare people. Allegedly, supposedly, for all entertainment purposes only. I mean, it really does look like I woke up one day and the human race woke up one day and realized that this has been happening. It's been recorded. It's been recorded through all time, and at some points, these alien species worked with us as a thank you, as a honoring the contract. Like, I think the brokerage was very one-sided, meaning it was more beneficial to them than to us. But it kind of had to happen, and I don't know why. But it was like we worked side by side with them for a very long time, and not necessarily unwilling participants of what was happening. But something happened. I really think there was a collective energy of anger, of learning that things aren't really dreams when it comes to this alien world. When I mean alien world, I mean like abductions and things like that. It's not really a dream. But as a collective, people woke up and started to realize that something was happening. And then this happened several different times. The last time was in the 90s when there was a collective wake up. And after that, there was a rebellion, but it's not like we're sitting out here like, oh, we're going to rebel against, our alien overlords. It's very much, I know this sounds crazy. It's very much like the collective consciousness pushed out against as far as energy. Our energy interfered with what they were doing. I think They also didn't take into account certain variables as far as evolution with the human race. So, as speaking of the human race, like, yes, they knew we were going to grow, but there's always unknown variables that happen because this is an experiment. This isn't something that was a known process of if we do A, B, C, we know we're going to get D as a result. That's not the case. This is an experiment, and outside variables changed that was not expected in the beginning, so people became more aware, and instead of accepting, a lot of people are very angry because they were not part of this original contract. Like, we are not part of this original contract. We are not, we didn't brokerage anything, and it is violating to the world now, whereas in thousands and thousands of years ago it wasn't, because it was like passed down. It's almost like the North remembers in Game of Thrones, but nobody really remembers what the North remembers. You just say that phrase over and over again. That's what it feels like in the beginning they had this understanding or phrase or something that they knew what was going on, and it wasn't that big of a deal, but now it is a big deal because of this variable that happened, that got thrown in, that really messed things up for them. And intermixing became an issue. There were some family dynamics. When I'm meaning intermixing, like them and us, this was also an unforeseen variable that people actually started to reproduce and form relationships and reform families. Like, it wasn't just, hey, I like you, or anything like that. It was love. It was a new life that was happening, and a lot of us are from those unions. Family trees, wow. Your crazy uncle that keeps saying that they see aliens, they do. They're not really that crazy. The crazy comes from the change in the dimension and the change in the atmosphere, but also trying to remember what we once knew. It really messes us up because it was so ingrained into our being at one point, but when this family started happening, it branched. It was an unknown variable. They didn't expect that to happen at all. It should not have happened, but it did. And there was a lot of anger that happened on their side, of very much like, this wasn't what this was meant for. This wasn't what we were doing. How dare you interfere? I feel like there was a big split between these alien beings, and when I mean beings, like, they fought. They split up into like 3 different sections, 3 different units almost. They're all still doing their job, but instead of doing them together, they're all split off. Now they're mad at each other. One is hyper angry, like, they are the ones that do harm. The other 2 have a lot of patience, and they are better for humanity than the first one. The first one that I'll call the old ones, because this feels like they were even older than the other beings that were around them. So like one race, maybe? This one race of aliens, old school. Like, you want to call them like the old gods. The other 2, while present and part of this brokerage deal, the other 2 species or units or whatever, they weren't as they were there, and they were all working together in the beginning, but when this family thing started, it was these 2 units that started it. Both of them are still trying to do things for research and the brokerage purpose, the deal that was struck. However, they're much kinder and gentler, and one I don't think necessarily interferes at all unless it is vital. The other one interferes all the time, but in a place of love, not a place of anger or a place of torture. I don't know if this shit's making any sense. So there are plenty of people who know this is going on. There are plenty of people with an insane a large amount of money. So, like, I don't know if I've talked to you guys about this or it was on my podcast or what, but the like the big 10 family or the big 25 families that have all of the money in the world, like they literally control, like the Rockefellers and things like that, that have an insane amount of money, and they have a large control over the population and monetary worth and jobs and food production, and it's a rabbit hole to go down to. But these families were direct result of this brokerage. Like, they were definitely the wrong families to do this to, because they're insane. And why they're insane is because they're not all human. Interesting. They aren't all human. These big 10, 25 families, whatever it is, that, I mean, it's literally, they have the world in their hands with, their money and everything. Let me know if I did a video about that. I don't remember. Or if you want to see it. As of now, there are leaders. So there are leaders all over the world who sponsor is the word I'm getting. So there are these people all over the world who are leaders, but I'm not necessarily saying that they are government leaders or world leaders or anything like that. Some are from this family, but some are servants. That has been their role, in the role of servitude to the aliens. I mean, I know this is, again, sounding very weird. We're just going with this. They take care of the details. They're the ones that take care of the needs and wants of these aliens, and basically they're representing Earth, even though people like you and me don't necessarily know that they do it. Like, we probably all have an idea of some of this stuff happening. However, when I say we don't necessarily have an idea, it could be your neighbor. Like, literally, it could be your neighbor Sally, and like, she will never tell you because she probably doesn't remember. But their life would be something very much in servitude. And when I mean servitude, I mean somebody who is actually in a helper profession, somebody that serves others, and that is very much their life. So if you think of somebody who is in service, a servitude is someone, or a helper profession who lives to serve and help other people, like, this is the type of people that I'm talking about. This is getting a little long, so I'm going to cut this now. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed part 1 of whatever the hell this was.
But I've never seen anything like this before.
Alright, everybody have a great day or night wherever you are. Remember, every single day is a gift. Use your time wisely, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.